By all statistics, this Levaya should have taken place last week. Benji had cardiac arrest. He was seemingly gone, and it would seem there was intervention by members of the family, Baruch Hashem, who were present. Then with Atzola, he was given 4 or 5 extra days. In a lifespan of 93 years, does it make a difference? We just said Tziduk Hadin. We just accepted Hashem Nosan v'Hashem Lokach. Hashem gave us the neshama, gave to the family the neshama, gave to his friends, his colleagues, gave to the world his neshama, v'Hashem Lokach, and he now took away this neshama. Not only are we saying Tziduk Hadin, not only are we confirming and we accepting that his neshama has been taken away, what a beautiful neshama has been taken away, but we're accepting and confirming and affirming that we have no questions on the time when he was taken away. These 4.5 days, maybe, not maybe, for sure. So much eternity was brought in these 4.5 days. For those who were with him, for those who davened for him, enabling other people to get used to the idea maybe that it's coming closer to the time. And he was nifta on Shabbos, on the holiest day of the week, he was nifta. What a difference it made. We read in the parsha this week, which is coming this week, the second parsha of Shema, Leman Yirbu Yameichem Yemei V'neichem, that you'll do what I've taught you. You'll do the mitzvahs. You'll do the right thing between man and God, between man and man. Leman Yirbu Yameichem Yemei V'neichem. In order that your days, you should have longevity of days, you should have a long life. Not only should you have a long life, your days should be filled with longevity. And the Rambam says, Lamaisa, the famous Rambam, he said to his son that Ashrei Misha Kolu Shnoisov B'mheiro. Fortunate is the person who, everybody's got a certain amount of time to complete in this world. Fortunate is the person who completes what he has to do in this world in short time. We seem to think longevity is a tremendous blessing. Inherently, Ashrei Mi Shebo Shekolu Yemei Shnoisov B'mheiro. That's what the Rambam writes. Fortunate is a person who's finished what he has to do in this world and completed his task. Why must he schlep it out? So what is the brocha in Leman Yirbu Yameichem that there should be a brocha? There's a brocha, but we keep everything, we do everything right, that you'll have longevity of days. I always recall what the Chassam Sofer says at numerous occasions, numerous times, that sometimes the brocha is for the person himself, and sometimes the brocha is, the blessing is for the family, for the children, for the grandchildren, for the great-grandchildren, for those who are in his vicinity, his friends, his environment. And this is certainly such a case. We read in the Torah, Hashem lekecho, Hashem letoivo. The Bnei Shalom will give you extra days. He'll give you extra days. Be free vitnecho for the fruits of your womb, for your children, for the next generation. But let them know. And who can ever calculate what a brocha it was? Certainly for those immediately, the children, the daughters. For Shelley, Glenda, and Diane, Shelley being here obviously had it more so, but all the others and their children and their grandchildren. What a brocha it was to have a patriarch of the family who conducting himself full faculties to the very last, full faculties, hearing better than you or I, and communicating better than most people, and yet such a refined gentleman. Such a resourceful gentleman, such a person who didn't want to be a burden on anybody, never was a burden on anybody. Speaking to the family yesterday, how resourceful he was, coming from humble beginnings, modest beginnings, and always finding his own path, his independent path as a pharmacist, as a well-respected pharmacist, changed in midstream, and most people are soon ready to retire, went on to another tack, traveled a lot to the Far East and so on. And then in other areas, and in each area, he was independent. He was a person who was respected in what he had achieved. And of course, I'm not the person to perhaps comment on this, but whenever I used to meet him, and was quite Baruch Hashem quite a lot as we were neighbors, certainly in the last few years, his achievements in sports was no mean feat, and we used to always have just a little bit about it and so on. He used to say he's going on for the 100, he's going for the century. And in a sense, he reached in those 93 years, almost a century, he reached, you could say, a tremendous record, a tremendous in many areas, and always with finesse, never with jostling or trying to gain anything from the upsets of others. And so he was in his life. And I can't help but think that we also read this week, we're going to read about Misas Aaron, the passing of his Zayda, his Elta Zayda, Aaron HaKohen. He was a Kohen, he had the DNA of a Kohen. And he was proud of that. He was very proud of the fact that he was Binyamin HaKohen. And Aaron HaKohen is the one person in the parasha, more than Moshe, more than Miriam, where the Torah tells us a couple of weeks ago that Vayivku Oisa, when he passed away, Vayivku Oisa Kol Beis Yisrael, the entire house of Israel, and Rashi says the men cried, the women cried, the whole house of Israel cried when he left. Why was it? Because he was a peaceful man. Aaron HaKohen was Oyev Sholem, the Roidev Sholem. He was a man who loved peace, who pursued peace, did everything for peace. And what a descendant of Aaron HaKohen, what an anacle of Aaron HaKohen. Never you heard anything, any word which was fractious or which would create dissonance between certainly family members, but anybody, didn't hear anybody, never spoke a word disparagingly about his fellow human being. It was highlighted, I remember, at his 90th, which he had a few years ago, that you never heard an ill word being said about his fellow man, never mind his fellow Jew, in his lifetime. Anybody can remember. Nobody can recall this. Remember this being said, and what a track record, and what a tremendous legacy. What a bracha to go up to Shomayim, that a person hasn't sullied his mouth, and nothing has emanated from him which in any way could have hurt some other individual. So it's a loss of a tremendous role model in the family, and the family need consolation. But on the other hand, there's a tremendous sense of being privileged to have been the daughters, the grandchildren, being acquainted with a person like Binyamin. Binyamin himself was the chelik where the Beis Hamikdash was built. Binyamin was the tribe, the member of the youngest of the tribes. He was the youngest of his family, and he was a Kohen, so he would have worked in served in the Beis Hamikdash. So I'm sure he's going up there, and he's going to be the same way he always was concerned and proud, and had nachas from his daughters and their progeny. He's going to continue having nachas mitzvah Shem. He should continue to have nachas and zaya guta better for his entire family, for the community. I must say that we were privileged in the Koil the last 4 years since he moved into our area, and he used to come regularly every Shabbos and come to the Koil, come to the shul, come to the Kiddush, be part of it, and always a good word. When I needed to be bolstered, he was the person I would turn to. He would give me a good chizuk, and make you feel something special, as if he'd actually heard the drosha, which is something which you don't find too often. And this was something which he did in such a nice and special way of his. So he was an oyev sholim and a roid of sholim. He loved peace. He wanted harmony. And Mitzvah Shem, he should continue up there to see that the family should keep together and strive to remember the good memories. And Yehi Zichrei Baruch, may his memory be a blessing. God and King, who is full of compassion, God of the spirits of all flesh, and whose hands are the souls of the living and the dead, receive you beseeching your great loving kindness and soul